Hello and welcome to our podcast, Dim Lights and Stiff Drinks, the Dive Bars of Seattle. So we decided to create a podcast in which each episode explores a different bar, historic tavern, or interesting drinking establishment here in the local area. We're setting out to document those bars that have a seedy backstory and interesting history behind them. But we're not just talking about these places in the quiet confines of some home studio somewhere.
Nope.
No, we are not. We are actually recording each episode live on location. And for anyone who says any different, we hereby challenge you to come down here and Lou will fight you.
Whoa.
Or drink with you, one of the two.
Well,
One of the two.
Or
yeah.
drink with you till he fights you.
Because in this
Or fight until he
podcast,
drinks.
we visit the places where bad decisions and future regrets are made, so you don't have to. For this episode tonight, we are here at the Sloop Tavern in Ballard. But before we get into the history of the place, I would first like to introduce the crew. First, Bob running the board here.
Hey now.
We got Jeremy, Mr. J Dizzle, right next to me.
Hey y'all.
And Sweet Lou over there on his phone.
Yeah,
All
what?
right.
No texting and driving, motherfucker.
I didn't know you were going to start out with such a blast. Pull
I'm
up all
coming
the
out of the
names.
gate.
So, all right, we're at the Sloop. Good to be here.
It's good to be here.
First two episodes, I was the one having to make the schlep up to Shoreline. And now, the schlep.
Oh, that's right.
Now
we're
you're
up
making
north.
the schlep.
Now we're a little more central. That's right. That's right.
Well, it's like 12 minutes.
Okay.
It's not my hood, but it's two hoods over.
12 minutes.
I know. So, yeah.
It was kind of a crazy commute coming here tonight, man. I went through a bunch of fog, too. I was like, fog? Where did this fog come through?
Fuck.
Yeah, the fog.
It's Halloween,
And
baby.
it was raining.
So, like I said, we're here at the Sloop Tavern in the Ballard neighborhood. I've always loved the vibe of this place. And in fact, a couple years ago, in 2019, I even held the release party for my first book here. The maritime-themed Sloop Tavern opened in 1952. And in addition to being a welcoming neighborhood bar, has served as a gathering place for local sailors who operate out of the nearby Shilsho Marina. A man by the name of Ole Olsen was the first owner of the sloop, and when he opened it, it only had 3 taps and no kitchen. It was a much smaller place than what it is now. I believe when it
3 taps.
only 3 taps, and I believe when it first opened, that was it. The sloop right there, like this. This was an addition that we're sitting in now.
It was like a hallway bar.
It was like a hallway bar.
Yeah.
It was like really narrow and just a kind of a small little place.
Couple steam beers, some Rainier, and
By the way, for those who don't know, a sloop is a sailboat with one mast and only one head sail. It's one of the most common rigs. In fact, most of the boats moored at Shilsho Bay are sloops.
still.
Still, to this day.
You can ask the Beach Boys
cool.
about that.
Yeah. In the 1960s, it fell under the ownership of a local sailing legend called Big Wayne. Who,
Wait. Big Wayne?
Big Wayne, that was his name.
Big Wayne.
Large and in charge, he was running things here. So he further established the bar's connection to the local sailing community. In fact, the tavern even has its own namesake boat racing team. The Sloop Tavern Yacht Club was founded here over several rounds of beers in 1976 by a group of liveaboards and racing sailors.
I would have chose the Sloopsters.
The Sloopsters,
But, we'll get into that later.
The club operates out of Shilsho Marina and continues to maintain a relationship with the tavern. In fact, it often holds post-race events here. The night of my book release party, in fact, there was a bunch of people just came back from a race. So it was like a mix of people here for my book release and then a bunch of people that just got off their boats.
I picture a lot of ascots and
Captain
docksiders
hats. Yep.
and
Yeah. I think they're a little more laid back here.
Yeah, it's still having a boat. You think that's a wealth thing, but in Seattle, it's not. You can.
It's not.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of people have. So it is a working class marine town still.
Yeah, totally.
It's not ascots and
It's like
Right.
Bible,
sweaters around the
it's
neck.
like Bible Belt drag racing,
No.
only with water.
Yeah, exactly.
In 1999, local restaurant owner Charlie Files bought
Who?
the sloop. His name was Charlie Files. And he was a local restaurant owner. He also
Accountant.
owned a couple other bars, and I don't know which ones. We were hoping to have the current owner here, Patrick, here to kind of fill in some blanks for us, but unfortunately he's not here tonight.
Did you try to
I can't even
but
keep
Charlie
track of all
Files-
Did you try to
Files-
get in touch with Big Wayne?
The whereabouts of Big Wayne are unknown. He is MIA.
Ole Olsen also not available.
I think he's 6 feet under. I think Ole Olsen is 6 feet under. But Big Wayne, now that would be a good interview, wouldn't it?
No Charlie Files.
No. So he bought the Sloop in '99 and built it up to what it is today. I think he added this addition here with the pool tables and basically this room right here. Added a bunch of taps, added a kitchen. So kind of the version that we see today was a result of Charlie Files, I believe. Sadly, in 2011, Charlie passed away, but his son Patrick, who I was just mentioning, took over ownership, and he runs things today. One of the Sloop's best features, in my opinion, are their pool tables. This is actually the first bar we've recorded at so far that has pool tables, which in my opinion really adds to a bar's overall rating. You know, even though...
Which is kind of weird when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Dive bars, but, we've done 4, and this is the first one with pool tables.
Pool tables. It is
kind of
surprising.
weird.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
it is
a
kinda
good
weird.
observation.
Yeah, right. and,
Yeah.
I can't think of a bar growing up that did not have a pool table.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially a divey kind of bar. Right? So
Right.
Is that a Seattle thing? Like, yeah, divey bars, but pool table optional, right?
I don't know, maybe.
You know?
I've been to a lot with pool tables and some without, but yeah, this is the first one we've recorded at so far that has them.
I bet you do like nationwide survey of dive bars, you're going to find more often than not
Probably
pool
the
table.
majority have pool tables.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, we got a pool game going on right here, about, 12 feet from us maybe?
Oh, in fact,
Remember
remember
bucks on that game too. It's about to get ugly.
a little backstory. When we came in here, we're by the window, and there's a short aisle and a single row, and then the pool tables.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 4-topper, so I was going to put a chair on the end, but I wanted to leave space behind me for fire code purposes. So I pushed this whole row of benches and tables back about 1.5 feet.
Yeah.
And she came over and she walked by and she was like, "Sorry, hon, you can't have these that close to the
Pool
pool table."
Code police came over. Yep.
Luke committed a party
the thing-
foul here.
It was the pool table code. They don't care about fire code here. They're like,
No.
dude, this is a corner shot.
Don't
He needs
intrude
to
on the pool.
stretch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a serious
Got
pool
to
bar.
keep our priorities straight here.
You don't want a cue butt in the face.
In fact, they're probably really nice tables. Tight corners.
They are nice.
No,
tables.
I've played on these
They're
before,
very nice
and
tables.
they're really good pool tables.
Fresh felt too.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm not a great at billiards, nothing beats a good game of pool when you're at a watering hole, right? Hanging out with the fellas, shooting a few games of pool. Who cares if you suck or not? It's just fun.
Fuck it. Pause this podcast right now. I'm going to take you suckers to school.
Also noteworthy here we talked about this a little before, are there Slooper-sized mugs of beer, a.k.a. the Slooper.
Nice. How
It's
many ounces is that?
34 ounces of beer. So what is that?
3 beers.
3 beers,
3
yeah.
cans of beer.
Did
2
you
ounces shy of 3
confirm
beers.
that? Did you bring your beaker and confirm? They say 32.
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, right?
You think they're
If this
shortchanging
were-
their customers?
Well, if this
That
were
could
a
be controversial.
British pub, there would be strict regulations on exactly how many
How many out?
farlings or
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
the hell they do in UK for the size of your beers.
And how much head can be left on the top of the beer? And yeah, they take all that
They have
seriously.
like little markings and shit on it. The government
Yeah.
would come over. And
But 34 ounces of beer, 3 beers. So in summary, the Sloop
two
reminds me.
maximum. Is there a limit on that? 2 sloops and you're cutting you off? It should be 1
Probably.
sloop
Yeah.
One Sloop, yeah.
in a 4-hour period, maybe.
No, when I was here for my book release party, I had one of the sloopers of the Bodhisattva.
Oh, nice.
And I was feeling it by the end, yeah. I was feeling it. So in summary, the Sloop reminds me a bit of the Cabin that we were at about a month or so ago, in that it's less of a dive bar and more of a classic neighborhood bar that's managed to maintain
Yeah.
itself throughout time. It also has a cool maritime history behind it. The official motto here is it's always happy hour at the Sloop, and that is indeed the vibe I always get when I come here. What say you, gentlemen?
Well, the first bar that we've recorded from with the pool tables, which is interesting. We should get into that more. But also, by far the busiest bar that we've recorded at so far.
Yeah.
And we've been fairly consistent.
Oh, that's because you guys are in the city, Holmes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we should
the
talk
Blue
about
Moon
that too,
doesn't count because we didn't even know they were open that night. They just were like, they were letting a band come jam there.
Yeah.
And there was three of their friends.
We'll throw out some, exceptions to that, right? But normal, like, we're open, come on in kind of bars. This is the busiest we've been into so far.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how the audio is going to sound because there are a lot of people in here.
Yeah.
But I'll be curious about
crowd.
that.
Good crowd. I'm not seeing a side eye among them.
No. But really super cool decor in here.
Yeah.
Of course, maritime.
Jeremy, tell us what's going on in here.
Oh, no, you're the where we at guy.
No, I'll tell you about Ballard.
Well,
you need to tell us the bar.
So, you started off talking about the
original
kind of hallway, really thin, narrow hallway, long bar.
Yep.
That was the original Sloop. And I think that's pretty significant because that style of bar is formulaic for a good dive bar, right?
Long bar.
Long hallway, you got a bar on one end, so there's like maybe a couple of seats way over in the end in the corner or something. But then
I turned around to look at the
some
bar.
point, somebody, Big Wayne or his brother or whatever, took out the fucking wall. I mean, literally the whole wall is gone.
Yeah,
There's
I think that was the
hole.
Charlie Files guy, the Patrick's dad.
I'm really curious, which came first, like the dreams of pool tables, like they got this tiny-ass, narrow hallway-style bar, and the owner, the bartender's like, man, really wish we had some pool tables, that'd be awesome. Or was like somebody coming running in and is like, hey man, the lease expired next door. Let's fucking break the wall down. Everybody's like, woohoo! They're like, well, what are we gonna do with all this extra room? Oh, I don't know, maybe some pool tables. So we definitely need to get the owner on mic because I want to know more about the history about when they expanded.
Well, I can always send him a message and see if we can do like a phone interview and then, add it later, post-edit. We can always try to do that. So I'll see what I can work out.
The pool tables add a lot, and not just for the fact that it's fun to come to a bar and play pool, right? But also just ambiance wise, right? We got basically half the bar is dominated by two very nice quality, very well lit, pro style, pool hall style pool tables, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like you got an ambiance of the rest of the bar that's fairly divey, but the pool tables, Class A, super clean, new felt.
Oh yeah, no, they're awesome.
I bet they are like laser straight and been like super like
You don't have to go through like
trophy certification,
3 or 4 pool
measured and
cues
shit.
to find one that's not
bowed.
bowed.
Yeah, nope.
These are not the pool tables at
shit.
Daryl's.
Yeah. And then, but it is surrounded by some fantastic decor that you would expect to find in a good local establishment and a good local dive bar, right?
Yeah, great neon signery.
And
Brad, you could maybe
and the Sloop maritime history is just
it's on full display here.
Oozing out of every corner. You got lots of like old ship models hanging on the wall. Old pictures of you got pictures of the sloop racing team, like trophies and shit, and the sloop, you name it. There's all sorts of maritime and sailing history just all over the place, which is pretty cool.
What is that wall of dead bones hanging on the wall?
That's not bones; those are knots. Those are knots like what you would tie on a ship.
I looked across the room and said, what the fuck is the deal with a wall full of bones? Oh, it's Halloween. Okay, some sort of Halloween, whatever.
Yeah.
That's right. It's like, look closer, man. Take your glasses off, look closer. What are they?
Oh, they're ship knots.
They're ship knots. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. And you got the obligatory pinball machine covering half of it. Which, along with pool tables and jukebox,
pinballs,
pinball.
Absolutely, big plus.
Yeah.
Definitely a big plus.
And another thing that makes this a dive bar is the unbusinesslike approach to it. Because when you look at this is a huge room for a city-sized bar. I mean, even compare it to Daryl's or the Cabin. This is like 4 Daryl's.
Yeah, you can put 2 good-sized apartments in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could... Literally, if it's zoned for multifamily use, you could put 12 micro units in here, and they've got half of this giant space for 2 guys playing pool and 1 guy who's going to refill their beers. You know, if you were running a business, you'd be like, let's expand the menu, tables. How many tables is that? This place is hopping. That's like thousands of dollars more every hour.
Well,
and we're just like,
there's
these
a
guys
whole
paid
other
$1 to play a game of pool.
There's a whole other depth of discussion, right? Like, what is the value of a pool table for clientele draw versus, to your point, they're like per drink, per person, per square footage, ratio spreadsheet bullshit that comes along with that.
Give it an ampersand name.
Right, nerd.
The Sloop and Market, the Single Sail, and the Beagle. All those bullshit ampersand names that don't make any sense. Yeah, so they're not trying to maximize revenue. So that tells you that the owner, whoever owns this building, has owned it for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And he's cool with it.
You mentioned what the date they opened?
1952.
52. Okay, because we had on the previous episode we talked about what is it like a minimum age to qualify as a diver?
We were saying what, like 40, 50 years?
Well, some of us were saying 40, 50 years. Some of us were saying, well, you could be divey at 25, 30 years maybe, whatever. This one, 50 plus, so...
Oh, yeah, so it's...
No problem.
Almost 70 years.
But
yeah.
At some point, we're probably going to go to a bar that's like 26 years, and we look around going, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make the shit out of it.
And you can go into a place and you can kind of tell its age kind of just by looking at the interior, You can tell this place has been around a while, especially that front room right there. It's not new. It's definitely not new.
Yeah, we should probably judge it by the age of improvements. Like, it's been here 100
or
years.
lack thereof.
Yeah. If you haven't worked on it in 35 years, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
If
there has not been a new layer of paint or new carpet installed within the last 25 plus years, then yep, you're good.
Yeah, there's still tobacco stains on the ceiling, even though you haven't been allowed to smoke in a bar for 25 years.
And they do have a pretty good kitchen back there too. So Bob,
Bob, get on the mic and tell us.
Before we got here, Bob had a burger, I believe.
Yeah, I just had a cheeseburger. They have really good standard bar fare. It was excellent. Just a traditional American cheeseburger, American cheese, which I think goes great on a burger. Some people might not like it, but I think that makes a proper cheeseburger. Nice little thin cut fries and some ketchup. But yeah, they had fish and chips. I looked on the menu. They had just some other good kind of typical bar food, mozzarella
I've had the fish
sticks.
and chips here, and they are legit.
Yeah.
I can verify that,
Yeah, I think anything that comes out of that kitchen is pretty delicious.
Part of that is got to be heavily influenced by the neighborhood we're in, right? Like, we're talking about where we are locally, but where we are neighborhood-wise,
I would almost
this is like fish and chips.
Be willing to bet that almost a lot of the dive bars we go, I probably just didn't be in Seattle, they're probably fish and chip is just kind of a greasy, fills the gut.
Yep.
You got some tartar sauce, some French fries. It goes great with beer.
That's all you need.
You know what I mean? And I was going to say, as far as dive bars go, I think another good sign, at least for the men, if you go to the bathroom and you go to the urinal, and there's just a bunch of ice. Like an old school, and you're peeing on, and it's always fun. It's entertaining.
That's a good observation.
Oh, my God.
And it's fun, too. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But anyways, thanks, guys. I'm going to pass this back to Lucky Lou.
And if there's no ice in the urinal, there at least needs to be a puck, right? One of those old pucks.
Super fun pissing on a big pile of ice. Yeah. That's a good staple. Definitely popular in Seattle. I don't know about nationwide. I think we need to get some viewer contributions there, but definitely popular around Seattle. Brad, why don't you maybe tell us a little bit about the neighborhood? Because I think it's significant and it's unique, and this is the first bar we've recorded in the Ballard neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So take us there, man.
Well, Ballard is traditionally started out as a Scandinavian neighborhood. And
that's what I was going to say.
Did I steal your thunder, Lou?
Yeah.
Well, even...
you were going to call it Norwegian, you loser.
Well, even the owner's name, Ole, that's a classic, Norwegian, Scandinavian name? Yeah, it's... and that's the guy who started this bar, Ole Olsen, and we're a stone's throw from the marina right here. So, fishermen, boats,
and
the original.
Ballard
And the Ballard
Locks.
And the Ballard Locks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'll tell y'all where we're at in a minute, but first let's do a recap of the names from the last 2 episodes. And these are just the last 2. I have another one somewhere, but
Names?
these were the names at the previous bar we were at.
Okay.
The Blue Moon, Gustafsson Hellflower.
Okay.
Remember him,
Yep,
Brad?
yep.
Doc Snell,
Doc Snell, the bouncer.
Fred Steele,
Yep.
Yeah.
Tony Payne.
Yeah.
Which do you want your ass kicked by? Steele, Payne, or Snell?
Or
And
Big
then-
Wayne.
Or and then at this place,
Big
you
Wayne
got-
would just give you a big hug and just just squeeze
Oh,
you.
and at the last place, Fast Eddie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right. And then here it's Ole Olson, Big Wayne, and Charlie Files.
Yeah, classic.
So there's your bar. What's the barometer of whether it's a dive bar?
That's true. That's a good point too. Yeah.
If
You
your
gotta have
names
some-
are like John Smith and Mitch Green. And
Yeah. Yeah, there's no Chads or
There's no Chad.
Dave Schmidlap.
Yeah. Chad Pennington.
Oh,
Oh, that's probably one of these guys.
Probably not a big guy.
I forget his name.
Probably more like a skinny guy.
I thought I had it remembered if I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I'm super jealous of all the names. Like we talked about this before. I'm not super stoked about the nicknames that we have selected for ourselves at this point.
Well, I'm
Sweet
Sweet
Motherfucker
Lou.
is fine. That's cool. Stash Panda Brad is
It
Yeah.
works.
certainly
It's good.
adequate.
So the guy who went through the porthole, by the way, Butch.
Butch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Butch.
That's all you need to say.
300 plus
Butch.
pound longshoreman. Butch.
What's a
Nice.
big dude to fit through the porthole, huh?
Yeah.
He'd be right at home down here.
I remember having a
Yeah, he
discussion.
would.
Like clearly, he like dislocated both of his shoulders and
Yeah.
some sort of hip surgery or something.
I've known how he got through those things, but somehow he did it.
So let me get me and Jeremy and Brad a refill
Yeah, Pausaruni.
and pause a Rooney,
Okay.
just so that
So
Bob
Lou, where are we at?
can do it.
Yeah, for the third fucking time, Lou, where are we at?
We're in Ballard, which is cool.
Yeah, thanks. Wow. Thanks, Professor.
Ballard was founded in 1902. It's a fishing village.
You know, when
The
you look around Ballard, when you look around this neighborhood, you can't help but think to yourself, "Huh, that's a lot of motherfucking condos."
Yeah, actually, and that's kind of the fun of Ballard. In terms of where we're at, we're on 45th Street, which is first part of downtown. Denny is 0, 45 blocks above downtown. So you take this street east and west, and those are like the 4 main neighborhoods of Seattle. Aside from if you're downtown, Queen Anne and Capitol Hill, the 2 hills around it, and then you go to 45th, and you start at, it's kind of like San Francisco, where you've got the ocean on one side and the bay on the other. Here you've got
Kinda, yeah.
Lake Washington on one side and the Puget
We're
Sound
just
on the
like
other.
San
Not quite
Francisco.
the ocean.
But San Francisco doesn't have West Seattle.
Not have West Seattle.
They do have a big ass hill, though. I forget what, not Beacon Hill, but whatever the big ass hill is called, or whatever. You know, that's kind of
Nob Hill.
Knob Hill
That's
in
their
San
West
Francisco,
Seattle.
yeah.
That's their West Seattle.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, that's
difference
Queen Anne
between
Hill.
having the ocean
Or
and the
Denny
Sound.
Hill. Yeah.
Is like, but yeah, so it's kind of the same way. You start at Lake Washington and you come to Ballard. Ballard's on the Sound, the ocean. So it's U District, where we were at last week. Then you got Wallingford Yuppies, Fremont Hippies and Weirdos, and Ballard, old people. Because what Jeremy said,
And
there's sure a lot of
seamen.
fucking condos. Those are
I mean,
all
sea people.
seamen. So what Jeremy was talking about is this is the most gentrified neighborhood in Seattle of the last 25
Well,
years.
I
For
don't-
sure.
Is it?
Yeah, for sure. Because what was it when we came to town, Brad? Do you remember like the almost live sketch where Ballard was like an old lady who could barely see over the steering wheel,
yeah, yeah.
driving her
Yeah,
70s
yeah, yeah.
Cadillac around?
Yeah.
Ballard
Yeah,
had
it's true.
memes before
That
there were
was
memes.
Ballard. And so there was a mill here in the 30s, so it was a working class town. It actually, before it got annexed, it became like the second biggest city in Washington.
Yeah.
So it was its own city until 1920 or so, and then they pulled it in.
Yeah.
And so,
I don't mean to play devil's advocate.
yeah.
But have you been to the Central District recently when the famous Seattleite Sir Mix-a-Lot once said, rolling down 23rd and Jackson looking for some action. Last time I was on 23rd and Jackson, not too much action.
Bob, where's your posse?
Broadway.
I always love that song. Quick aside track is because it was a huge hit in the 70s or in the 90s, and everybody who hears it thinks Broadway in New York City.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
But if you're in Seattle, Broadway is like the Castro in San Francisco. That's the awesome gay neighborhood.
Now I got a question about Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I love
So
that.
remember, like when we were in high school,
Way off topic.
and like
No
a
homophobia.
good
in the black
ass was
community in
considered like kind of like small and almost petite and tight. Like if you said that girl has a good ass, that's kind of what you were describing. Was Sir Mix-a-Lot the one responsible for like
Baby got back.
big booties becoming
Baby
kind
got
of
back?
popular?
You're probably right.
You think he was the one?
He might have brought in twerking before twerking.
I think he hammered it home.
He might have. Because now, I mean, a big ass is considered very
I see what you
sexy
did
and
there.
appealing, but it wasn't
Now it's all about
back
the
when we were in
thickness.
high school.
In the 80s and 90s.
In the 80s, it was not. Yeah.
Cares about the excitement?
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, man.
Oh, that's what.
There's always been TNA.
So was Seattle ground zero for the big booty?
I think so.
You could
Yeah.
make that argument.
And you
I
can
think
also
you can make that argument.
You can
Yeah.
talk to anybody from Seattle, and you pretty much everything started here.
Yeah.
Rock and roll started here, jazz started here, Ray Charles from here, Quincy Jones is from here, rock and roll's from here, the Sonics from here, 90s from here. Yeah,
And
Garage
big,
rock.
and big
Ventures.
booty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything is
And
from
big
here.
booties. I'm down with the big booties.
So yeah,
Props to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Boeing, large derriere.
Everything that matters.
so yeah, Ballard when I first moved here was kind of what they were describing. It was an old neighborhood, lots of old Seattle was here, and there weren't a ton of bars. Now it'd be tough to describe because on Ballard Ave and Market and here there's 40 bars and 40 nice restaurants and 4 cupcake joints and 5 boutiques.
Yeah.
And these buildings that
There
come
are
up
a shitload of cupcake boutiques.
on Market
Yeah.
Street, there was Sunset Bowl, a bowling alley.
Oh, yeah.
Lot of
R.I.P..
dead- and now
Yeah,
that
that place
place
was a classic.
is 272 units, and they took out the Denny's and Sunset Bowl and whatever was there. And so yeah, Ballard has grown huge in the
Yeah.
last, but it's still the character is still there. You know,
Yes and no.
well,
Yeah,
all the
although
families are still there.
Seattle in general.
I am seeing fewer and fewer Ballard-specific bumper stickers. Right? Like I think we need a Ballard
yeah.
bumper sticker roll call. Okay, I'll kick it off. Visualize Ballard. Right?
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
But
Fremont Center of the Universe.
Fremont Center of the Universe, right? I mean, there was a shit
That's all
ton
I
of
know.
them. There was a shit ton of them. I used to see them on cars all the fucking time.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, yeah, that's true. It was kind of a hippie neighborhood too. Plus, it's a big Nordic neighborhood. There was a mill here, and there was a ton of fishing. So the Nordic Heritage Museum is here
Yeah.
on 85th, and the Ballard Street Fair is a seafood festival. That's their summer street fair.
Where was
Get some
Leilani-
lutefisk.
Where was Leilani Lane again?
That's in Greenwood, like
Yeah, that was in
92nd.
Greenwood.
Yeah.
Leilani Lane.
The Sunset Bowl was great too because they were
Oh, that
open
place was
24 hours. So
Yeah.
after bars shut down, you could go get some fries and bowl, and
Yeah.
you could smoke in there.
Right. Yep.
Almost have enough room here in the sloop to put in a lane or two. Get rid of those damn pool tables.
Yeah,
I'll talk
still
to the
two
owner.
guys.
I'll talk to the owner.
We should mention it has filled up here. Before, when I was fucking
There's not an empty fucking.
moving
No,
tape.
this place is packed
Yeah.
now. It's good that we got here when we did because we would not have a place to record if we got here, just a half hour late.
Yeah, we'd
Yeah.
be on the floor in a corner
Yeah.
by the
In the men's
by the pinball
room,
machine.
next to the urinal with the ice.
Those crunching sounds, not good for the microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. When I first described earlier of me like moving 2 booths a foot to try to make room,
Yeah.
now I'd just be
Dude, you were obsessed.
86.
You're obsessed with
I'd
that
be
whole.
I'd be kicked out. like the place is packed. How's the sound, Bob? Can you hear us? Is the background noise killing everything?
You know, that's an interesting point, though. Like, it is getting packed in here, but it's actually not that loud, right? I've certainly been in bars that where there were fewer people and it was way louder, right? So there's something in the funky-ass ceiling, or maybe the fact that it's got carpet and not like concrete. Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Or,
right?
you know, it can be attributed to the giant amount of real estate they give to the pool tables.
Absorbs the sound.
The felt.
Yep.
It's sound absorbing
Oh my
felt.
gosh.
You think this is
in my studio.
It's acoustically pleasing.
a bunch of old sailor hicks? No, this place
Double
is high
benefit.
tech.
All right, so real quick, we got to have what you drinking?
Quick question: how many bar fights do you reckon have been here? It doesn't have to include sailors, but I'm sure there were a few. You think there are a couple here? You know, throughout the years.
Well, there's a
number.
big ass gouge in the wall behind you, and that could have very well been caused by somebody's flying fist. If it isn't, that's the story I'm going to go with in my head.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not as sexy.
I almost said no. This place is a dive bar, regardless
We
of anything.
established that.
Well,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I mean, I just
You
found
gonna
another.
reestablish it?
Yeah, we're going to have to reestablish it because it's a pool tap bar.
Pull tabs. Oh yeah, pull tabs. Yep, obligatory pull tabs, and a shit ton of them. Right, whole wall full of them. Although I have been to bars where I've seen more pull tabs.
Yeah, they got like
so,
7
you know.
tanks. It's not a huge pool tap bar.
But yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. That it.
How do you explain pull tab gambling to someone who's not from Washington?
It's like a lazy man's scratch ticket.
Kinda.
Right?
Yeah, like how much are pool tabs? You can get them for a quarter. Yeah, you can get a quarter, a 50 cent, a 75
It's like
cent, a buck.
hitting the nickel slots, right?
And then what do you do?
You just pull it. Like I said, it's like a scratch ticket where you don't even have to scratch. It's like super lazy. You just like pull. You just literally pull a little tab, thus the name pull tab. And you're like, oh, I lost. Okay, next.
2 pieces of paper together by a couple dots, pull
Yep.
it open, and
Yep.
it tells you what you won.
If you had X-ray vision, you could make a fortune.
Yeah, it's true.
You could haul off $5-10 easy.
And it's kind of that game, too. It's like, actually, no, I don't want to talk it down. Let's talk it up.
Yeah.
Don't go to Vegas. Come to Washington and play pull tabs if you're serious about being a big
More
player.
fun. Way more fun, and I bet the odds are probably better.
Way better.
Yeah, way better.
Brought to you by the Washington State Gambling Association.
So I like, it's a good call out, right? We got the wall of the pull tabs, and to kind of paint the picture, you got patrons on the bar sitting right across from the wall of pull tabs, and what do they have in front of them? A big ass bowl, preferably one of those cool like wooden like bamboo kind of like old school bowls.
Yeah.
And are they filled with bar snacks? No, they're filled with a big pile of reject pull tabs. It's like when you order crab and they get you the little bowl to throw all of like the gristle and cracked up whatever. It's like your loser pull tabs go in the big ass bowl.
Like a spittoon for pull tabs, if you will.
Your winning pull tabs get redeemed, which is another pretty cool thing about pull tabs is you can do on-site redemption, right?
You can do on-site what?
You can on-site redemption. You don't have to like take your ticket to like a
Oh,
some,
yeah, the
like,
bartender
gambling
pays you. That's
office
right.
or
You don't have to
something,
drive
right?
it to
Yeah, fuck
Olympia
that.
to...
No. It's like, hey, I want my 50 cents that I won from this pull tab.
And I call that reinvesting. And you throw it back in the pull tabs until you get the big one. Reinvest.
Oh, you want an account for your pull tabs? I think we can accommodate you there. Sure. Yeah, sure. Little Jimmy over in the corner, he'll set you up with an account.
With the mission ticket.
Also, you give you the numbers for the next NFL game, too.
Maybe hook you up with a nice lady.
Hey, family show, Bob. Family show.
Family show.
Oh, wait. We are... It looks like we are kind of winding down here, but we do got to do what you're drinking because, like all of the dive bars that we have been to thus far, I think there's a little bit of an interesting story about what they're pouring, right? So, Lou, we'll start off with you, man. What you drinking?
I had, this is beer number 2. The first one was the hazy bale breaker, was it? Mm-hmm. And this is the one you thought you ordered the first time.
It was the...
Start with an S, 2 S's.
Oh, Sea Pine.
Sea Pine, yeah.
Hazy IPA. Yep.
This is a Sea Pine, and this is not what you were drinking the first time you ordered it. You were drinking the hazy. She gave you a wrong beer.
Good dive bar fashion. We came in,
They were
started
both
drinking.
delicious,
We didn't
so
really know what we were drinking. We're just like, yeah, this will work. Okay, you got a bale breaker. Great. If I remember correctly, Portland-based brewery?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Great local Northwest brewery. Before that, you and I were both drinking Sea Pine, Seattle-based microbrew. Great stuff, right? The fact that they have 2 good microbrews, and we're not even halfway through the tap list, but they also had 2 Sea Pines, which is quite unusual. Sea Pines are tiny, little microbrewery. The fact they got 2 of them, a lager and an IPA, impressive. And all the way down, you go through. They got a bunch of cool stuff. They got
They got Manny's and Bodie, I think.
Bodie's, Manny's Pale Ale. We got a Bud Light, which is pretty standard fare for a dive bar. Good for them. They also got a couple of add-on taps. So that is kind of cool.
The stout that you're drinking?
You got the 5 or 6 taps that are in the equipment that was installed in in 1972 when they remodeled or whatever the fuck I don't know. And then they'll have a couple add-on taps that were clearly a total afterthought. Somebody literally had to drill a hole in the bar and run some copper pipes up the side and shit like that. It's right. But the shit that they're pouring on the add-on bars is pretty crazy. Elysian, which is another local beer based out of Seattle. It got
they
big,
have
but still,
that's the pumpkin spice beer right now, right?
Dark of the Moon Pumpkin Dark Ale, which Elysian, a little unusual to see in a dive bar to begin with, but a crazy ass dark pumpkin beer on tap, pretty cool. Definitely illustrates the points that we've been talking about the last couple episodes. A dive bar in Seattle is still a beer bar. We are a beer town.
Yeah, you
Micros rule.
You're going to find some good stuff.
It doesn't matter how seedy, how hyper-local you get. You can have some good fucking micros on tap.
That's true. You can't go wrong. And they did go above and beyond.
No exception here. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet the pumpkin one is delicious, which...
It is delicious. I will contest.
I usually don't like pumpkin beer, but Jeremy gave me a taste of his. Not too bad.
Yeah,
now, would I buy a
pumpkin
6-pack of
pie,
it? Probably not, but it was
pumpkin
good.
spice season and
Smack
all
you
that
in the
stuff's
face with
kind of
pumpkin.
gross,
Yeah.
but...
Yep. A little coffee in there, like a good stats got.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you, Brad? What you got going on?
So I'm also on the Sea Pine
that's
tip.
actually delicious. Oh my
you
God.
like it? I'm on the fence with pumpkin beers. I'm not a big fan. I never have been, but
I know you prefer
above
guava.
and beyond. It's
yeah.
pumpkin spice latte, any pumpkin spice scone. I don't like any of it, but that's delicious.
It's not bad. It's not bad. So I'm also on the Sea Pine tip. I'm drinking the Sea Pine Lager, and I believe I was just looking up on my phone. So they're based out of Soto, so another Seattle brewing company, and pretty good stuff. So props to Sea Pine.
And we should call out this, I think, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think first dive bar we have recorded from that is a true tavern in that beer and wine only. No
That's
hard
a good
liquor.
point, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe we didn't mention it.
Yeah.
It's becoming less and less nowadays.
Rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, rare. Even in Seattle for a dive bar. And then you brought up last time, in order to be called a tavern officially,
You can't serve hard alcohol.
got to be beer and wine only.
Beer and
right?
wine only, yeah.
So, and we are in an official, licensed, government-regulated, approved tavern.
And that's pretty cool. We talked about that before, about the difference between the only reason they can't serve hard alcohol is because they refuse to serve any food of any kind. Fuck you. You don't come in here to drink. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But
That's
yet,
what's
they have,
going on here.
they have a full kitchen.
But
Bob just enjoyed a delicious burger and fries.
did the Blue Moon serve food, though? That's a good point, because they must have, because they had hard alcohol. But I don't remember seeing a menu there, seeing a kitchen or...
They'll serve you a fucking sandwich if you really, really, really want it. But,
Are they one of those places that throws a microwave pizza
They're
in
not
the
going to give
microwave?
you a menu. Yeah.
Okay.
Microwave pork rinds.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be like, seriously?
your first book, I will remind you, had a whole history about prohibition laws, and which still persist
The blue laws,
today
as they call
about your requirements to serve certain food and blah blah blah. And all,
I don't think you can get away with a microwave. You got to have a proper oven, and you have to have a proper kitchen in the back.
At Shorty's downtown, they serve hot dogs.
Yeah.
And that works.
Yeah.
And that's just the roller,
Yeah.
But, even though they could be
microwave
serving,
doesn't cut it, but a big ass heat lamp that's good enough. That's fine.
But yeah, they just want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Which is another callback to bad business sense. How they
so. Well, now I'm really curious. Is the kitchen original, or was the kitchen an add-on?
Well, no, they had.
No, there was no kitchen. So when it first opened in '52, there were, like I said, 3 taps and no kitchen, and it was just that place right there. It was strictly a beer joint. You came in here and you got a beer and you hang out with the guys from the neighborhood. No frills. No.
To your point, Lou, though, business decision. They put in a couple of pool tables. You got to run the numbers on that, see if it's going to make sense from a business decision.
It doesn't.
They added a kitchen, which means a whole new revenue stream for the food, but decided not to add alcohol, which they potentially could have since they had a full kitchen. Right?
I know.
Now we really need to talk to the owner.
This place that's what I love about it. It's a series of bad business decisions. There's probably...
Let me speak to your accountant right now.
I hope the grandfather's still alive and the kid he gave it to is like, I don't care, Grandpa. I'm going to just run it the way you did. He's like, are you dumb, boy?
Get your full liquor license, you idiot.
Yeah, this place isn't owned by someone full of ambition. You know what I'm saying? They just want to keep it the way it is.
With a place like this, you don't need...
You're almost like in the position of you're historically preserving it.
Yeah.
Because you're not... You're leaving a ton of money on the table because you love it. That's what's awesome about this
And that's
place.
not why... People don't come here because it's the newest, latest, greatest thing. They come here because this is what they remember. Like, their dads used to come here when they were kids. They've been coming here for the last 20 years or however long, and they like the fact that it hasn't changed.
Yeah, you really want to rake in the bucks, get draft kombucha.
Yeah.
That's what all the Ballardites want. But yet I don't see it in the tap list there.
You don't?
No. Oh, and no hard seltzers, thank God. But like the last couple places we've been in, one if not 2 hard ciders, which is again I think is another definitely Seattle phenomenon. Maybe not exclusive to us, but definitely more
Pretty much any bar you go to now has got at least one kind of thing. 2, 3.
Got to have a couple hard ciders for sure.
Nice. Do they have to have alcohol-flavored seltzer water? White Claws? Have you ever seen White Claw on tap?
Right
Does
the
that
fuck
exist?
out of any bar that's got hard seltzer on tap. I'm outie.
That seems, those hard seltzers though, I think that's a generational thing because my daughter's my daughter just turned 21, so her and her friends, they love the shit out of those things.
Oh, really?
They love White Claws and what's the other one? Truly, I think is the other one that's really
Jiffy
popular.
Lube hard cider.
They love them. They can't get enough of them, but I don't know anyone our age that drinks that stuff.
I think you said it's a generational thing. Also, too, like from what I've read, the stats, the kids don't drink as much. Like the college kids aren't drinking as much as everyone did. When we were in school. Like beer is just not
They're
as
sipping,
cool.
They're not pounding.
And I don't know if that's the legalization of pot has something to do with that or not. But it's just the alcohol. Just a lot of kids are. They're just saying no. They're just not going that route. We're switching it up.
They're popping open that little tiny 8-ounce can. They're sipping it nice and slow with their pinky up, and nobody knows even what the fuck a beer bong is.
The world's going to hell in a handbasket.
That sounds like a good thing, right?
Shut up.
Well, I don't know. Part of the reason is that the prices have kind of skyrocketed. Where when we were in our 20s, you could drink for cheap, right?
You can get a keg for $40.
There were bars. Yeah.
I don't know. Some of those hard seltzers are pretty fucking cheap.
Really?
Yeah, some of them are. You can go to a bodega and get like some no-name brand you never even heard of, and you're like, oh, 39 cents a can, okay.
And how do you know this, Jeremy?
A friend told me. It's right next to the Four Loko.
Yeah, so I think this is a wrap. We're closing things out here at the Sloop. Thank you for joining us. Signing out with Bob, Lou, and Jeremy.
Thanks,
Peace
guys.
out.